Thank you very much, Linda. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out and spending your afternoon with us. Really excited to have you all here, and I'm excited to be here as well. The topic today is customer experience. And the reason why we focused our roadshow, this is the sixth city we've been in, this is the end of our roadshow. The reason why we focused on customer experience is this. That's the end result of all this technology. That's the end result of communications, is building a great customer experience, because at the end of the day, that's the most defensible business asset that we have, happy customers. So let's talk about a few of our customers and some of the people you're going to meet today who are doing some really interesting things with customer experience. So Hyatt, really cool use case. They let people staying in Hyatt hotels text from in the room saying, I need more toilet paper. And let the facility staff immediately deliver you whatever you need. And a bunch of other cool use cases there. What else? Trulia, really cool. If you're a renter or a homeowner or a home buyer and you're looking to rent or buy a place, they will connect you in real time with an agent who can help you with your search. Other use cases, StubHub is connecting ticket buyers and ticket sellers via communications to get that ticket delivered in real time. We've got eHarmony connecting people, creating love with communications by connecting people safely and securely during the early stages of the dating process. And we're going to hear today also from Lyft, who's connecting riders and drivers safely via the power of communications. And there's a common thread among all of these people, in addition to the fact that they are creating great customer experiences using communication. All of these companies represent a common thread. They're software people. They're people who believe in the power of software to build a better customer experience, to build a better product, and to build a better company. And we're here in San Francisco today, right? We all know within blocks of us, some of the most innovative software companies, innovative software people are around us innovating every day. And the good news for all of us is that now is the best time ever to be software people. And I think that's why you're probably all here today, because we are all software people inventing the future together. And the reason why this is the best time ever to be a software person is pretty simple. More and more of the world's problems are addressable by software people. And this is increasing every day, the number of problems we can solve. I want to walk through why that is and why it creates so many opportunities for us to build companies, build products, and build great customer experiences. If you think abstractly about software, right, about computation, what computers do is they take in some piece of the world, they do some computation on it, and they spit something back out into the world. Right? If computers didn't interface with the real world in this way, they wouldn't be useful to us, right? We'd have no idea what was going on inside of the little box, right? So this is how all computers, this is how all computation works. And as we've built more and more sophisticated computers, we've taken more and more sophisticated parts of the world and been able to compute on them, right? It started with punch cards and teletypes, then keyboards and laser printers, then audio and video, and you start to see this interesting history of computers emerge. What started in the 50s and 60s, for the first 2 decades of computers, as numerical problems, right? Crunching numbers, calculating missile trajectories, calculating census data, right? Those are the first use cases, right? Then we added those keyboards and those laser printers, and the next 2 decades, the 70s and 80s, were about solving textual problems. And we got word processors, we got spreadsheets, and a PC on every office desk, right? And then the next 2 decades, the 90s and 2000s were about solving multimedia, right? Audio and video into computers, operate on them, and spit them back out into the real world. And you get Jurassic Park, and you get YouTube, and you get MP3s, right? We're able to deal with media problems. And now what's so exciting is I believe we're entering the next phase of computation, and I think we're going to spend the next 2 decades solving the everything else problems. And this is why it's the best time ever to be a software person. So if you go back to that abstraction of software, right? Sensors, sensing some part of the real world, bringing it into the domain of software, doing software on it, and then actuating something back out into the real world. That's the model. And what we see today is a rapid proliferation of the number of sensors, the number of actuators out in the real world that bring more problems into the domain of computation, right? Our smartphones are the are the biggest, are the biggest reason for this. Because every smartphone is connected to the internet 24/7, and it's just a collection of sensors and actuators that are programmable by software people, either in the cloud or on the device itself, right? But there's an interesting trend that goes on beyond just the smartphones into all of the sensors and actuators that we're putting out into the world, connecting to the internet, and making available for us to solve more and more problems, right? And there's a trend here, and the trend here is that people who are doing this are using hardware minimally as this bridge between the physical world and the world of software. And minimizing the hardware aspects of these solutions preserves the flexibility of software. So that sounds very abstract. Let me walk you through a few examples. I think you'll get my point. How many of you have a cable remote that looks something like this? Right? And they actually advertise it's got like 170 keys. Right? And progress is when they have the 180 key version, right? That's what hardware people do, right? Because they design and they build it and it rolls off an assembly line with all this stuff, right? But when software people go about solving the problem of TV, what do? Right? Here's the Apple TV remote. It's got just a few buttons, right? Most of them don't even have a label on them. Why? Because the more you bake into the hardware, the less flexibility you have. And minimizing the functionality of the remote preserves the power of the real product here, which is the software. The software running on the Apple TV box, they can get updated constantly. Every week they can ship an update, they can fix bugs, add new features, new functionality, respond to a changing market, create a better customer experience. That's why. Let's look at another industry, payments. Right? How many of you walk into a bodega to get your coffee every morning and they got one of these sitting on the counter? Right? And the only thing that this credit card machine will ever do was designed and built when it rolled off the assembly line 10 years ago, right? And when the shop owner wants some new functionality, maybe they want to do store credit or take debit cards or whatever it is, what do? They throw this thing away and they buy a new one. Or better yet, if it's like the store next to my house, they keep adding more next to it. The counter's got like 5 of them in a row. That's how hardware people work. Software people think differently. This is Square. Right? That tiny little hardware dongle, that little 2-cent piece of plastic, is the minimum required to bridge the physical world into the world of computers. And then everything else is software. Because they can update the software running in the cloud or running on that device all the time. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, Square launched Store Credit as a new feature inside the app. Boom. Over there, update, you got it. New feature. That's the power of software. Let's look at another one. How many of you have a thermostat that looks something like this at home? Right? I can't for the life of me figure out how to program the thing, right? And then you get Nest, right? Nest is some sensors, right? Temperature, humidity, a wheel, a screen. That's it. Everything else is software running on your phone, running on the device, running in the cloud. They can update it all the time. Let's look at another industry you might not have expected. Your car, right? When I decide I don't like my car anymore, like most people, right, what do? You go buy a new car, right? But that's not what happens if you own a Tesla, right? Because a Tesla, the interior of that car is a touchscreen, and that's about it. And they get software updates over the air. And people I know who own Teslas say, yeah, I got in my car this morning, and I got an over-the-air update, and it said, hey, welcome to your new car. Here are all the new features we added last night. How cool is that? Right? Adding new features, new functionality. But it's even better than that. Remember when Tesla had their little PR fiasco last year with they hit a rock or something on the freeway and there was a fire, right? And the whole PR thing, right? If that was General Motors, right, they would have recalled 1 million cars. It would have cost them a ton of money. What did Tesla do? They issued a software update. It raises the ride height of the car by 2 inches at highway speeds. Done. That's the power of software. Isn't that amazing? Your car, right? Let's look at another thing. This is the most popular phone in the world, the Nokia whatever 100 series. Most popular phone in the world in 2006 when the iPhone launched, right? And Steve Jobs comes along and he launches the iPhone. He says, guess what? We got rid of the keyboard. And everyone was, kind of up in arms about this, right? And he said, the reason why is that the keyboard just gets in the way. It's not flexible enough, right? By turning the keyboard into software, they could make it adaptable to what the software needed. They could update it all the time. They could get rid of it if the app doesn't need it. And when it is needed, they can pull it up. They can add new languages. They can add Unicode. They can do all sorts of magical things. Because now it's in the realm of software. So that's in the consumer space. Let's look at the enterprise space. So this is the most recent, top-of-the-line phone that Cisco offers for your desk in your office. It's got all those buttons. It's got screen. It's got all this stuff on it, right? And I know what you're saying. Like, how can you call Cisco not software people? Right? They employ 30,000 software developers. Right? How can you say they're not software people? Well, I can say this, and I'm going to do my best Jeff Foxworthy impersonation. You might not be software people when. This is how you scale that out. That's not photoshopped. That's a product photo from the Cisco website. Right? You can tell it's just a different way of thinking, that hardware-centric mentality versus people who cherish the flexibility and the agility that you get with software that you can update constantly to build a better experience. Those of us who are software people know that the best telephone would preserve all the flexibility of software, would be the minimum amount required to bridge the physical world into the world of software. A speaker and a microphone. That's the ideal telephone. Right? That's the minimum you need to bridge the physical world of audio vibrations into a computer. And everything else is software. Everything else you want to be as flexible as possible so that you can adapt, you can change, you can be agile. That minimalism in hardware, right, that preserves the flexibility of software. And that's the name of the game. And that's what we see going on and what software people are doing out in the world every day in expanding the reach of what we as software people can do, what problems we can solve, what markets we can address. That's what's so exciting. And part of what's exciting about software, right, because you can move fast, because you can iterate quickly, because you can ship every day and listen to your customers, is software companies and software people have the opportunity to build these great customer experiences. And that's why software is so important. That's why we're here today. There's one realm of our business that surprised me, right? We started Twilio as a platform. And our customers often show us where our technology is most useful and most valuable. And one of the areas that we have found customers doing the most amazing work is in the contact center. And what surprised us the most is how far the legacy is from what we would all consider to be the future of software. Let me walk you through how this works. And I know many of you may not have a call center yet today, but I think it's so illustrative and so interesting to see this industry and how important this is. Because if you think about it, for any company that operates some sort of contact center, be it for sales, be it for customer support, right, these are your most important customer interactions. If you're trying to close a sale, if you're trying to help a customer when they're angry at you because your product isn't doing what they want it to do, right, these are the most important touch points you have, the most important aspects of your customer experience. Yet so many companies trust these critical touch points to really bad technology. Let me show you why. So if you've got a call center, and you might say, this is our brand new, we just introduced our call center. We just introduced it 3 years ago, right? Because that's pretty recent in the age of hardware, right? When your CFO makes you amortize it for 10 years, right? So 3 years is your brand new call center. Well, it takes 2 years to actually buy and implement a call center. So that call center that you launched in 2011, you identified the problem in 2009 because it took you 2 years to buy it and implement it and install it. So a problem you had in 2009, you're talking to a sales guy. Well, he's selling you this hardware that was built. It's their newest model, right? That's probably a few years old because of the design cycles and release cycles of hardware. So you're buying something that's the newest model as of 2006. But because of the low-level implementation of hardware, that's running on an architecture that was probably designed multiple years before that. And so most likely, most companies who run a call center are running decade-old technology at least. And this explains why our experience when we contact companies is often so bad. Right? In an age of Facebook and Twitter, this thing was built before those companies existed. Right? How can you expect it to keep up with customer demand and changing customer expectations? And the reason why all of this happens is pretty simple in my book. It's this one word, CapEx, capital expenditure. Right? When you have to spend so much money to build something out, you have to keep it for a long time, it gathers dust. Right? So according to Frost & Sullivan, the average middle-sized call center spends about $12,000 in capital expenditures up front per agent. $12,000. So what is that? How do you come to that number? Well, first of all, you've got PBX boxes that are sitting in the closet, and ACDs and call queues and all this other stuff that are running on that hardware. Then you've got PCs, right? The agent needs to be typing into a terminal, right? So you've got a PC for every person, and they got to talk into something, you got a phone. Right? All this stuff adds up, and according to Frost & Sullivan, the average 250-person call center, which isn't even that big, is about $3 million in CapEx spent up front. $3 million that your CFO makes you keep on the books for 10 years. An eternity in technology. Gathering dust in the closet. So this CapEx is the problem. Right? The goal is to eliminate the CapEx. So if you eliminate the CapEx, you can eliminate that depreciation cycle. And if you eliminate that, you eliminate the barrier to upgrading, the barrier to having the best possible technology to manage your customer experience. So if you think about the technologies that make up that contact center, right, there's a lot of them. You've got PCs, you've got Windows licenses, you've got client-server apps, you've got server licenses, software maintenance phones, PBXs, CTI integrations, hardware maintenance, right? The list goes on. All these pieces, all these technologies bought from different vendors on different time frames with different pricing models, all with their own support and maintenance packages. Wow. It's no wonder why it takes so long and is so expensive to deploy these old things. But this is still what's running in most contact centers. But an interesting thing has happened over the past 10 years. We've started to realize instead of doing these client-server applications, right, we can deliver applications better via the browser. And the browser comes along, and we've been replacing those legacy applications with something better that runs in the browser, powered by software as a service. And you start to see these client-server apps and server licenses and the software maintenance fees, all this stuff start to disappear. But you still have these phones, these PBXs, all this legacy technology there. But something interesting happened in the last few years. Along comes WebRTC. And with WebRTC, you can turn the web browser into a high-quality telephone device. Right? And because of WebRTC and apps running in the browser, you can now get rid of those phones and those PBXs and the CTI and all the maintenance associated with that. And so we've made a lot of progress in recent years, but there's still one bit left. You got all these PCs, you got all these Windows licenses, you got to deal with managing them, you've got viruses, right? You've got malware, you got all this stuff that people have to deal with when you're running a fleet of all these computers, right? And worst of all, you still have a CapEx, right? So if I have to go spend more money on more PCs, then the CFO says I have to wait until I fully depreciated my previous asset. So I can't upgrade, I can't have something good. And so we got to thinking about how can we get companies to have a modern contact center experience? And we realized that the answer was out there. Google released it a few years ago. Chromebooks, right? A computer that is just a browser. That's all it is. And it fixes a lot of these problems. It can't get viruses, right? It's all managed centrally from the cloud, and it's always up to date. It's pretty cool because it gets rid of all of the management headaches of PCs and the licensing of an operating system and everything else. And for the low price of $400 roughly per machine, enterprises can put these in. But the problem is that's still a $400 CapEx. And we said if we really want to have a solution that gets rid of the CapEx entirely, so that everything is up to date and everything is subscription and everything is OpEx, we need to get rid of that. We need no CapEx. And we thought, how can we help companies achieve this goal? And so today we're really excited to announce a new partnership with Google. We're calling it Twilio CX for Chromebooks. And this is a partnership between Twilio, Google, and Plantronics to deliver all of the software, the telecommunications, and the hardware that you need to run a modern, state-of-the-art, always updated call center, and deliver it all as an operating expense. So a Chromebook as the hardware, the Plantronics headset, that minimal telephone device, the speaker and microphone you need to talk into, that's it. That's all you need. Everything else just gets in the way. And so what Twilio CX is, it combines the power of Twilio's cloud communications, all the capabilities that Twilio offers in the cloud. 7,500 minutes per agent, per user, per month. 7,500 minutes. That's enough for just about any enterprise workload. Contact center, call center, inbound, outbound, etc. That's the cloud portion. Then, sitting on the desk, you've got a Chromebook for business, and this includes the Google Chrome Management Console. All of the tools that IT needs to manage all of these machines centrally from one browser and to keep that fleet up and running and provision them on the fly, make it simple to administer. And then lastly, that Plantronics headset, the thing you talk into, all delivered for one simple monthly price that companies can get started on, they can grow whenever they need to, and a new Chromebook just shows up at their door when they need to add more agents. It's that easy. So, you're saying, great, how do I get some Twilio CX? Well, what we really wanted to do here is to deliver a complete solution, right? So we're not selling Twilio CX directly at this point. We're going through our partner ecosystem. Because what we want to do is not only package the power of Twilio and the power of a Chromebook and the power of a headset plugged into that Chromebook, but also the application you run, the SaaS application you run in the cloud that powers that contact center. And so we're excited to announce today the first partner that we're going to market with here is LiveOps. And the LiveOps Engage Cloud Contact Center. And the LiveOps Engage Cloud Contact Center allows companies to all entirely in the browser manage multiple channels of communication, be it Twitter, be it SMS, be it phone calls, all from within the browser, all from anywhere in the world. And it works perfectly with Twilio CX for Chromebooks. And so they're our first partner. And I wanted to show you right now what that solution looks like. So we're going to go over and we're going to do a quick demo of the LiveOps Engage product here running in a browser on a Chromebook. So first of all, Chromebooks are amazing. They boot up in 3 seconds, right? It's crazy fast, right? Because there's really nothing on them except for a browser. And so you end up here in the administration console. I forgot I got to put on my headset here. That's it. Plug a headset in, open the laptop, log in, and you're ready to go. Now, I wonder if someone's going to call into our call center here. I wonder. Oh, there we are. We're getting a call. We're getting a call there. And hold on a second. I think I need to make sure the audio is going to you guys, not in my ear. There we go. All right. So, hello. Thank you for calling the Twilio CX Roadshow. How can I help you today?
Hey, Jeff. It's Mike Dowse. How are you?
Mike Dowse from Google. Great to hear from you. Where are you at? Are you going to join us today?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it. I'm caught in a little bit of traffic, but I'll hopefully be there in just a couple minutes.
All right, great. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. All right, so there's a sample call, live call occurring in the browser with WebRTC in the LiveOps Engage platform. And so that's as easy as it is, right? You just load a URL and your call center is live. That's part of the benefit of running a contact center in the browser, right? But what's the other benefit, right? In that old world of hardware, if you needed to add more people, you had a seasonal workload, you had a major product launch, some reason like that, you would have to go provision more lines from a carrier. You had to drop more boxes in, add more phones, add more PCs, add more software licenses, the whole thing. But in the new world, all we do is drop in another Chromebook, open the lid, plug in the headset, and start talking. So we're going to do just that. We're going to add another agent to our installation here. So I wanted to introduce up Ann Roxtel, the Chief Marketing Officer of LiveOps, who's going to be our second agent. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you. It's great to be here. So we're going to show you how easy it is to add an agent. And this could be from anywhere around the world. You just turn on your Chromebook and you log in, and that's it. You're ready to go. So as Jeff mentioned, in addition to voice, to deliver a great customer experience today, what do our customers communicate on? It's not just calls, which is important still, but they're emailing, they're doing web chats. For those of us who are social media addicted, probably is the right word, you're tweeting, you're Facebooking, and many people like texting, inbound and outbound. So what you have in front of you is a multi-channel cloud-based contact center in a box. So an agent literally can be a super agent nowadays. And at his or her disposal is all those channels. And most importantly, because it's a RESTful architecture, for those who are completely geeks, you can easily integrate into CRM. So we are integrated via CTI, via Salesforce, as well as Microsoft and a variety of other CRM solutions in the back end. So when somebody tweets, I do a record pop. When somebody calls, we do a record pop. The whole concept is that you want your agent to be really productive, They know immediately everything about this customer. And right now I have Mike's information up there. And you can see that I actually have Mike's mobile number, email, Twitter, Facebook. So I can do inbound, outbound communications very seamlessly without losing track of a current interaction that I have on. And I also at a glance can see Mike's past interaction history. I can even bring in transaction history. So talk about amazing customer experience. It starts in many ways with an agent who is fully empowered to do their job. So I'm going to go ahead and check to see, well, let's take a look. Are there any non-voice related information that I can pull up? Well, let's see here. We have Mike right there. And Mike just mentioned that, okay, he's on his way to San Francisco, and I can actually accept that the tweet and actually go in there and reply to the tweet. So in one fell swoop, I can go through this agent console and say, hey, glad it worked out. And I can even, in some ways, append using knowledge base and templates. And if it's something about a campaign that we're running, you can easily append that information. So there are lots of templates people can use. You can dispose the call and actually acknowledge the fact that this is a customer support call, whatever the case might be. So you can pull out that history with all the right information and send that out there. Okay? So I just did that. And at the same time, if Mike, in this case, is really important to us, so I really want to be able to engage him and give him a call back to double check. And I can do that without losing track of my current interaction. So I just pivoted from a public channel to a private channel. And just kind of give you some idea, this platform that you see in front of you is actually available global. We have 6 contact centers around the world. So your agent, frankly, can be logging onto a web browser using Twilio, using LiveOps, and get to work from anywhere around the world. And today, this is not actually a pipe dream. So I actually have 8 contact centers from Salesforce running on this platform. I have Symantec, Electronic Art, most importantly, Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. So you don't want to miss any calls. Believe it or not, Super Bowl weekend is the busiest weekend for these guys. So they have to be able to scale up. So this platform here, because it's cloud-based, as Jeff mentioned, it scales very efficiently and most importantly has security as well. So for people that have to take credit card information like PCI compliance or healthcare for HIPAA, all that information and security compliance measures are built into the physical as well as the cyber infrastructure layer. So this is ready to go and you pay for what you need, and with the Twilio CX for Chromebooks bundle, now you don't even have to pay for the capital expenditure. It's pay as you go in the truest sense. So I just want to come back to this and actually give Mike a call. And just to make sure that, he's a really important customer of ours, that he's going to be, all happy and taken care of. So here we go. Oh, I may have ended the call. Okay, well, guess I won't talk to Mike, so my trigger happy finger gone a little too fast. But the point is, I can actually engage with Mike as well. So I believe Mike is in the audience.
Mike, did you make it?
Yeah. Welcome, Mike. So as you guys see, this amazing customer experience is actually real, can be delivered today, and it's all software-based. And Mike is here to explain how Chromebooks play a critical role in enabling this work anywhere and happy agent and happy customer scenario.
Great. Thanks, Ann. Really appreciate it. And Jeff and the Twilio team, thank you very much for having us join you here today for this exciting launch of the partnership. We couldn't be more excited from the Google and the Chrome team about the contact center space. Chrome, much like Twilio, developed years ago to really challenge the way legacy operating systems were both managing hardware as well as the applications that reside in those environments. We think the contact center space is a perfect solution area for a lot of the main benefits that Chromebooks and Chrome OS bring, some of which you saw in the demo today. A few of those just to outline, speed. So gone are the days of, sitting down at your home office or your work desk, pressing the on button, going to grab a cup of coffee, coming back, logging in, checking your voicemail. With Chrome OS, 8 seconds or less, you're up and running, you're productive, you're a contact center agent, you are talking to your customers and being productive, getting ROI right out of the bat. Simplicity. So simplicity for the contact center agent. If you can navigate and utilize a Chrome browser, you can use a Chromebook. So we see this tremendous ROI where you can get these out into the field and people can be up and running with little or no training. Simplicity for IT administrators, right? Jeff alluded to the management console. So there's a management layer here, all cloud-based, that IT can manage, what's done on these devices, the applications that reside in them, and push content as needed. No longer need to worry about viruses. You can't download any executables on these devices. There's no attack vectors. Every 6 weeks, there's an update to the device that you and IT can decide to take, or you can put that on your end users. No more 3-year upgrade cycles, right? Some of these devices, we've actually seen the battery life get better over time. So think about that. Totally different mindset. And then the last piece is cost effective, right? In many cases, these devices are a third or a quarter of the cost of devices that are being deployed, and some of the numbers that Jeff has shown. And with Moore's Law, those devices are just coming down and down. And so whether you're a 10-person SMB contact center or a 10,000-unit contact center, these devices just fit. So again, we're really excited about this partnership. With the combined partnership with Twilio and LiveOps, we see something that we think can exceed demands, and look forward to chatting with all of you and networking later today. So appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Right. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Ann.
Thank you.
Right, isn't it cool what we can do when we jettison all that hardware and we get down to the bare essentials and we push everything that we can into software? So as I mentioned, LiveOps is our first partner that will bring to market this full solution for companies' problems, from the hardware and the headset to the software running in the cloud and the communications aspects, everything. And LiveOps is offering this, and it is live today. You can go to liveops.com, and it's live today for $90 per agent per month. And again, that's the hardware, the connectivity, the headset, the Chrome management console, the whole thing. And you can get up and running in a matter of days or weeks. And compare that to the time spans I talked about before, that's pretty interesting. Because what you're doing is introducing agility back into it. Being able to update all the time, being able to spread your workforce wherever they are around the world. And if you spill a coffee into one of these things, you just pull up another one. It's amazing. In fact, we're so excited about this, we made a little commercial. Let's watch it now.
A typical contact center takes at least 12 to 18 months to implement and costs a minimum of $3 million, with upfront expenses that depreciate over a period of 10 years. Which means your most important customer interactions are probably handled by decade-old technology. So, how can you expect it to keep up with rapidly advancing customer expectations? By not being a typical contact center. By running your communications entirely in the cloud. Always up to date and getting better every day. Simple to administer and right in your agent's browser.
Hey John, looks like your account is having problems again. Let's get this fixed.
From unboxing to customer interaction in less than 30 seconds. That's Twilio CX for Chromebooks.
Right, so as technologists, we get excited by orders of magnitude. And when I see it going from years to 30 seconds, that is really cool. That's why we're so excited. And this is just one of the ways in which software is redefining how we can build better customer experiences, the contact center. But the rest of the day, we're here to hear about many other ways in which software and communications are helping us build great customer experiences. So I'm really excited that you're here. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Please talk to all the Twilions who are here and ask any questions that you have. We're happy to answer them. To get on with the show and to get on with our the rest of the afternoon, I want to reintroduce back up Linda Smith, the Chief Marketing Officer of Twilio. Thank you very much. I hope you guys all have a great day.